everyone, and welcome to another episode of Nights at the Brown Table. I'm Sefa.
I'm Sila.
I am your quintessential seamstress, songstress, mistress, mattress, Lamah. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Mr. Lamah.
What's up?
This is a podcast of three Pacific Islanders sharing their view and the lens through which we see the world. We are going to be talking about what happened on Tuesday, the 16th of June. So at 4 p.m. on Tuesday this week, Solomone Taufeulungaki was approached by 8 to 10 males and stabbed to death outside Brimbank Mall and meters away from his church. 6 teens, one as young as 13 years old, have been charged. Initial thoughts? Go.
So like in the different news articles, they wrote what the parents say. So for example, Solo's father, he says, everyone dies in a different situation. Heavenly Father needed my son to come back. And then the other response is, we don't know who their family is, in response to the boys that stabbed their son. We don't know who their family is, but we love them. The parents don't teach bad things to the children. It's their children's choice. And then he went on to say, we don't want any justice.
What do you think?
Knowing a lot of our Pacific Islander parents, English isn't their first language, so when they both said we don't want any justice, I think that what they meant is we don't want anyone to retaliate. I think when it comes to justice, I think it's important for those kids to understand that what they did is wrong. I don't believe in punitive justice. I believe in restorative justice. So I think it's important for those kids to be able to, right the wrong that they did.
Firstly, I just want to send my condolences to the family through this difficult time. What really stood out to me the most is when I watched the interview, like Sila was saying, the parents said, we don't know them, but we love them. And I think that's a huge takeaway for me in a sense where I feel very humbled by just their ability to be so openly forgiving in such a situation. I think when I personally think about like Christ-like attributes, this is what I think about, and it's just terrible. Like when I listen to them speaking, it's heart-wrenching. In terms of the actions that should, play out for the boys that are current, have they been charged?
6 of them have, but I think a few have been released already on bail. I might be wrong.
There was at least one. I remember the last news article I had read. He's on house arrest.
My hope is that if they have watched this video of Solomone's parents, that they take these words that their parents are saying, that despite the fact that they don't know who you are, they still love you regardless. I definitely think that there should be consequences for your actions. You should always be accountable for your own actions. But by watching these parents openly be so, I don't know what the word is.
I think it is forgiving. Like, it was heartbreaking to watch the videos.
Just watching the parents be so forgiving. If I was one of those kids and I watched his parents say this, I would want to do the best that I can do from now onwards.
Was it confirmed that it was Pacific Islander kids?
So they don't specify if it was Pacific Islanders per se, but they have confirmed the gang that was related to.
Like, all I know was that his cousin, the girl that was with him, said that the kids, they went to school with them. So she saw everything happen. She knows the kids. But I do think it's important to know what culture they were.
I found it interesting that it was no race was mentioned of Solomone. They just said his name, and there was no mention of the boys that.
And I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah.
Because I was waiting for the media to kind of like have this narrative of Polynesians or Pacific Islanders, the stereotypical with retaliating with violence, but I haven't seen that yet.
Speaking of which, there's been a lot of talk in regards to the influence of drill rappers recently being a massive impact on the way youth are today. I don't agree. I think it is an old conversation that it is not the music that dictates how kids act. I think the intent of the artist is telling their own story, point number one. But point number two, most of the time, this kind of behavior is something else triggering it. Something similar that I've found that they try to, that's something similar to this situation is the effect of video games on violence. That has been debunked. Mm-hmm. So I do not understand why you think music could do the same here.
I agree. When it comes to media, I think that it can have an influence on kids or people that are already going through it. I think that's when sometimes it'll resonate, and then at times kids will act on those feelings or on those things, for example, violence and whatnot, because they're going through certain things within their own lives. But I don't think that we should blame drill rap. I think at the end of the day, you either talk to the kids and ask them why are they doing this. Like, that's how we can find out what we can do to change everything.
It's, you know, it's not like you were saying with video games. You know, I grew up playing Grand Theft Auto. Does that mean I wanted to become, you know, somebody that wanted to steal cars and whatnot? No. I mean, I grew up singing the national anthem. Does that mean I want to go colonize another country? Do you know what I mean? It's it's really unfair to really put the responsibility on these drill artists and these rappers, because the responsibility should be held accountable for the person doing the action.
I think it is worth saying that, is it a possibility? Maybe. I'm open to the possibility, but in regards to just singling out that this is the thing we decide to focus on, I was like, are you serious? This is the one that you draw out of the hat first, is you blame rap. Come on, man. We are beyond this.
You know what we should, like Sila was saying, what we should be doing instead is focusing on the individual, like teaching them there are consequences to the actions that you take. You will make a wrong choice, then you'll have to face the consequences. So I feel like instead of putting the focus on the music industry per se, we need to be talking to these kids. We need to intercept before they make these decisions. We need to be able to cultivate that culture and bring them together.
So can I just say, like, going off what Lamah was saying, with a lot of, like, I've worked with youth in our church since I was like 18, and I'm a lot older now. And for a long time, I remember the last youth activity we had, I was talking with the youth, and a lot of them, like Lamah was saying, are like very disengaged. A lot of them just on their phones. And then it came to a time where you could express how you felt. And I noticed that every kid that went up, they have mental health challenges. A lot of them have depression, anxiety, and they don't know how to deal with these emotions. And at the same time, I could tell they don't have anyone to talk to apart from their friends. So a lot of them, their outlet was putting on social media, like, they'll at someone, or they'll say, oh, I don't feel, you know, they'll put their feelings on social media, but they don't know how to deal with it in a healthy way. So when it comes to our youth, I think it's important for us to sit with, like, especially the youth that we have around us, or the youth that we interact with. We need to sit with them individually and just listen and talk with them and not at them.
I think that there are a lot of important skills that are missing from the next generation, and it comes not just in regards to the influence of music that they listen to, but also their use of technology. I just think that it's such a great access of power that someone so young is incapable of making the right decisions to understand the consequences of what can happen when you use such a device. I'm blaming the user, but I'm not saying that it's the user's fault per se. I think that technology has, the generation that's raising this generation is not fully aware of the power that's in the hands of their kid. I didn't even have a phone until I was late teens, early 20s. So the ones that are being raised now, they've had a phone in their hands since they were 10 years old. And to have that kind of power, but not have the mental tools or the life skills to distinguish what is good, what is bad, how to use it, the consequences of such a thing, I think is a big gap.
It's funny you mention that, because my cousin, she's 8 years old and she loves TikTok. There will be times when she would call me and she would say, "You have more followers than me. I'm so sad." Like, she's 8 years old and she's already worrying about numbers on social media. And I think that's really true, that there is that gap. And for us, for me, I feel like we need to be asking ourselves, like, what can we do to help our younger generation feel more engaged with each other as opposed to being disengaged? So we need to either like teach them or show them what tools that they can utilize to emphasize their talents or the things that they're good at. But how do we engage them in that conversation?
Then that's the thing. Like, seeing how a lot of our youth and a lot of the kids, they seek validation on social media and on these different outlets when it comes to people that they don't even know. And a lot of the time people who they've only met once. And so it's the whole thing of how do we help youth identify or be able to develop a healthy self-esteem and healthy sense of worth so they don't seek it outside. Because I think that's where it comes to, a lot of them wanting to join these little groups of people. Because for me, I don't think it's gangs. That's just in my opinion. Okay. I think because in my head, a gang is like you do this whole initiation thing and then you go steal cars, beat up people and all that stuff.
These are just kids.
But I think these are just kids who they're bored, and a lot of the time they want to get together, they have fun, and this is their sense of fun and their sense of rush. I know with a lot of Pasifika kids growing up, you are so restricted at home that once you get out at school or just out in public, you play up because you're not able to experience that kind of freedom at home. And so I know that a lot of them do those kind of things. I know that a lot of our parents, they're good people and they're hardworking people and they're church-going people. But our kids need to understand that they are safe, and they need to understand that their voices can be heard at home. And I think it's important for kids to be able to know that, and to know that however they feel and what they think, that it's valid. I think when kids are able to feel that, not to say that they won't play up, but I think that home will then become a much healthier, safer place for them. So it lessens the chance of them playing up in those ways.
You're a much better person than I am. Like, that's not my reaction. I volunteered for the same program earlier this year, and a lot of the youth were disengaged. They just pissed me off. They pissed me the hell off, man. And I know, like, deep down inside, I know that they are good kids. I know that that I should seek to try and just validate them and maybe have them experience something good for the week that they're in my discharge. But man, it was challenging. I don't know how to change apathy. Apathy is from within. Like, I can provide them with opportunity, and I felt like I was providing them with opportunity, and the program that we're at provided them with plenty of opportunity, and yet they still disengaged. I just get annoyed. Like, I have not no patience, just little.
So that's funny because we can't have that expectation of, like, with that program that you're talking about. These youth, they have built up this persona that they have. So it's hard for us to kind of expect them to just come for 1 week and then, oh my gosh, wow, open up. Like, that's not how it kind of works. Yeah. Especially if they have built up this wall and like stuff like that. And like I said, it's a challenge, and it should be a challenge, and we should be taking that challenge and breaking down those walls, like opening up those dialogues and being able to kind of talk to them and listen, which is, I think that's a really good point that Sila was talking about too, is sometimes they just need somebody to listen to them, which is really important.
Yeah.
So in regards to this week, Sila had put out a question on her IG. And the question was, how can we help our youth find healthy and safe ways to express themselves or channel their energy without them resorting to crime and violence? She received a myriad of responses.
A lot. Thank you so much for all those people that took the time to write some thoughts.
Okay, so one of the responses that we received, or that Sila received, was from Amatale, who said that the thing that we need to be focusing on is, before creating these programs, we need to instill in them a belief that they can do anything. If they don't want to play football, but they want to paint, we let them paint. That stood out to me the most because growing up, I wasn't the most sporty person. the things that I was gravitated towards were like the arts and stuff like that. If these people want to do the arts, they can do the arts. I think that's really important to know that our kids have many talents, and it's very important to hone in on those talents that they have so that we can support them and their endeavors.
And I think it's important not to put that pressure on them that they have to be a certain way.
But also, in addition to that, I think not to instill, I would be cautious to not instill a false sense of greatness, but as in you're great just because. Not because you're going to achieve anything. It's not about the result, just because, period.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? An intrinsic value that is beyond any of the actions that they take, that isn't taken away if they do something bad or if they make a mistake, just is.
Yeah, I agree.
The one that I did find interesting was an economic perspective where parents working, this is the response, parents working 3 jobs and not being home enough to know what their kids are doing. While I don't necessarily think it's as simple as the second half, just saying that the parents don't know what their kids are doing, I think it's something that is to be considered, that when you are in low socioeconomic circumstances, there is a lot more strain at home. There's a lot more strain on relationships. This isn't slagging on any one person's parenting job. It's just the circumstances that kind of force their hand. And I think that's a part of it in regards to taking the time to understand what your kid's doing. How can you, when you're working 8 hours and then you're coming home for an hour to eat and then you're going to your night shift job?
With our culture, when it comes to Pasifika culture, when we talk about Pasifika, we're not eliminating, I think that's why I don't like saying poly, because we're talking about Polynesian people, Melanesian people, and Micronesian people as well. And so when it comes to Pasifika families, we have the sense of village and of community when it comes to raising our families. And so a lot of the time when it comes from, when they come from the islands, it's kind of like you then become an island if you don't have anyone else around you. And so it's hard for some families in order to raise their kids in that way because you're so used to a whole community helping to raise your child, being aware of your child. I think when it comes from families where they come from low socioeconomic areas as well, or when their parents aren't together and, for example, if it's a single parent home and the parent is super stressed, they're working all these hours, they're trying the best that they can, and then they feel like a failure when it comes to the kids. I just want them to know that it's not their fault and that they do have community because we're church-going people majority of the time. And so I think it's important for our parents and our families to understand that they're not alone in this venture of raising their children and to lean on those different people in our community. I'm so grateful for the people that we had around us, especially with my mum being a single mum later on in life. And so I'm grateful for my aunties and uncles and my church youth leaders that actually made time to talk with me individually, and that made me feel like that I mattered to someone. So yeah.
There was one that I thought was funny. Send their asses off to a boot camp and work labor in the islands. While there is something practical to that. There is something practical to that in regards to learning the value of work and money, but why does it have to be back at the islands? Are we not capable of using the resources and tools here to teach kids that? Or is it now just impossible that you will always raise spoiled children here?
Yeah. I don't think it's impossible. I think one of the things for, I guess, someone like me and our generation and even younger is we tend to give up way too easily. When we think about our parents, like they traveled across the seas, they worked 3 to 4 jobs, and here is us, like the one small road bump, and then next minute we're giving up.
Life is over. I don't have as many. Yeah. Sorry, I was going to make funny in these questions. I was going to say, I don't have as many followers.
You have more followers than me.
No, but for real, like we give up too easily.
But I think that's not only our people, like it's just people in general.
That's what I mean. Like,
we just give up too easily.
I agree. Like, I don't think it's just us. I just meant in general. Is it? Are we incapable of raising a hardworking, resilient generation in such prosperous circumstances?
And I think as long as you have an honest job, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, just don't give into that whole life of crime and whatever. I don't care if you work at McDonald's or you're a rubbish truck driver or if you admin at an office or a receptionist, or even if like you work in a factory, there's nothing wrong with any of those jobs. It's a job. It's an honest job. You get money. Because I think sometimes, you put this expectation on kids to be exceptional. Yeah. It's okay to be mediocre and just normal. I'm average.
No,
there's nothing wrong with it.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think, but also they also set, like, some of the role models, I do not understand. This is what I don't like. We should not be looking to media for any sort of morality. We shouldn't be looking to them for a moral compass, nor should we be looking for them for look for their actual attributes rather than their accomplishments, because not everyone will achieve that sort of greatness. But look at what they did to get there. They were hardworking. They were resilient. All those sorts of qualities, we should be instilling the quality in them rather than trying to expect the result. As a people or as like organizations that we might be a part of, do you think we've taken part in that process of putting that expectation on them?
Well, I feel like growing up, we're taught to dream big.
And then they say that this is what do you call it? You are a chosen generation. And that can be a lot of pressure on you. But I don't see you getting the expectation and be like, let me go stab someone. No offense, condolences. But, sorry. Yeah. But do you get what I mean?
But I'm just talking about the generation in general. But show me the average Joe. Yeah. Show me show me a dude that just is committed to his wife, committed to his family, committed to a job, committed to his craft. It doesn't have to be someone who has so much attention on them. There are everyday people all the time that I am constantly impressed with, and they don't need media.
And they are just as successful.
Yes.
I think to have a healthy to have created a healthy environment, whether it be at home or just within you in your community, that is a success.
Yeah.
But it's so true what you were saying, because when you put that expectancy on people, then when they feel like they can't reach that expectation that you've set on them, like they're gonna fall short, and they're going to feel short. Like exactly, yeah. Or what do we want to instill in the youth today? And it's like what Sila's saying: you are enough.
As cheesy as it sounds, it's so important that you know that deep down. Like I joke around about it because I'm never ever sincere, but deep down, I hope people do know that.
And one last thing is, one of the teachings is come as you are. Because you are enough.
Yeah. Amen. I love that.
That's nice.
Yeah. Okay, so our game. So our game today is kind of like song association from last week.
What? No
but
way.
Instead of whoever sings it first, it's you have to sing as many songs. It'll be back and forth between Sefa and Lamah.
Wait, Salam. Did you just choose this game because you just wanted to hear us sing again?
No, because I organised it.
Or did
so I know all the words.
Ask you, can you play it again?
I think that's what it was.
We had such a good... Backed by unpopular demand. Nobody asked for it, but you're going to get another week.
Backed by our two fans.
Thanks, Mum and Dad.
Our two fans who are also the participants. Lamah, you are so good.
Thank you.
Okay, so the rules of the game is it'll be a battle, and the person who cannot come up with a song within 3 seconds, the other person will win.
Okay.
They will get that
how do
point.
You start off with who goes first?
So
you just decide.
I'll just point. Okay.
Say their name, so people, because you know the.
Okay, I will say that. I will say their name. I will say their name. Okay, are you ready? Are you prepared? Do you feel prepared?
Honestly, no, because I feel like a lot of easy words were last week, so I feel like a hard words are due this week.
They're not hard. They better not be like
they're not hard.
Juxtaposition.
Onomatopoeia.
Alliteration.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
The word is room. Sefa?
Sitting up in my room, back here thinking about you.
Say my room, say my room. I don't know.
That was such a good try. Sefa, you get that point.
Yes. I gave that to him because remember, I'm a very charitable
You
person.
are so charitable.
Thank you
so much, Lamah.
Again, I'm not above it.
Next word is dream, Lamah.
Dream lover, come rescue me, take me up.
Dream, dream, dream. Dream, dream, dream when I want you.
Oh, wow.
In my arms.
Okay, relax.
Okay.
I had a dream. This is what I do.
Sefa?
What song was that?
You don't know that song?
You don't know that song?
Okay, I'll go. To dream the impossible dream.
Look at you showing off.
To rise to the height of the sky.
Wow, beautiful.
To soar.
Yeah, we'll love her.
So impossible in my dreams. You can't find to catch my. I forgot the words.
Sefa.
Dream lover, come rescue.
I already sang
That was done.
F you.
Lamah, thank
F you.
Next word
I
is
thought it was
This is hard.
Yeah,
never, Sefa.
Never, ever, ever, ever felt so low when you go. Okay, why'd you cut me off early? Well, you let him sing multiple lines.
Never enough. Never, never.
Never enough.
Sefa.
Never give up on yourself or your dreams. It's a Disney song. Look it up.
Lamah.
Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down.
Sefa.
Never like that.
Okay, Lamah's point.
Yes!
Oh, to be honest,
Did you make that up?
Yeah, that last song.
I thought so.
I was like, it's a Disney song.
Next word is life. Lamah.
Life, oh life, oh
Sefa.
life.
Life on Mars. It's a David Bowie song. I only know the title. That's a real song. Life on Mars, David Bowie. Look it up.
Okay.
It's a real song. I
Lamah.
promise you.
There's gotta be more
I
to
should've said that one.
life than taking out every temporary high to satisfy me.
Sefa.
Oh
You
yeah.
went over the time. Okay.
I won't.
Last one.
I didn't have anyone.
Last
Yeah.
one. The word is world. Sefa.
Heal the world. Make it a better place.
Lamah.
For you and for me and the entire planet.
We are the world. We are the people. We are the ones to make a better place. So let's start giving. There's a choice.
Then the All-Star version and Wyclef Jean, he chucks that in there into the middle of it. Yeah.
Sefa.
What is it? What's the word again?
World.
Oh, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, bright blessed day.
Okay. Okay, Lamah.
Midnight.
You are the one to me. I just can't see my life without you. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Wow. Sefa.
I just made that up.
It seems like a legit song. I don't know that song, but I'm impressed.
Okay.
I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Better than my impromptu song.
So the winner of today's game
If you, that goes to me. He made it up.
Oh, true. That's yours.
But I still lost.
Whoa.
So the winner of that game was Shalimar 3-2-2.
Yes. But we need one more round.
Yeah, because it's 1-1.
Yeah, so we need you to give us a word.
Okay.
To
So
make us
this
sum
will
up.
be a random word, like last week with non-binary, Rye, and gymnaste. So the word is.
But wait. are we going to do the same word?
No, different word.
And then you have to pick what version you like better.
Okay. So the word for Sefa is juxtaposition.
Oh, wow.
And the word for Shalama is photosynthesis.
Yes.
And when you're ready, begin your improv song.
Juxtaposition. Don't lose momentum. Gonna stay on track. Gotta stay on Jack's position.
I love that.
It's juxtaposition or Jack's position, just FYI. I don't know which school you went to at Granville Boys, but it's juxtaposition instead of Jack's position. Wow. Rega. Okay, Shalama.
Sorry, what was my word again?
Photosynthesis.
Oh, I love this song.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Photosynthesis. Oh, yeah. Photosynthesis. I feel so blessed. I feel so undressed. Yeah. I wanna take my clothes off, 'cause I'm a photographer. Photosynthesis. When I take my clothes, I wanna take photos. Photosynthesis. Ooh, when I take my home.
Okay. Parental discretion is ever.
Photosynthesis.
Wow.
PHOTO.
Okay, no. To make a distinction. First of all, it's not about the voice. It has to be about the creativity of the song.
I actually really like juxtaposition. That was really catchy.
Yeah.
Okay, he's gonna try to be the bigger man and to say that, and I'm just gonna have to agree with
Wow,
his
you're so
assessment.
humble.
Okay, so maybe
Critique.
Okay, so the critique was you have this tendency to change a word and totally, like, or should I say change the word, to just totally change the word.
It's my accent because I lived in America.
Because he's
Okay, so
German
that makes
Chinese.
sense. You lived in America.
I'm
Okay, Suzanne plays Auburn. So maybe that's the reason. So Jack's position, I've never heard of the word, but the critique, like, I love that you had a lot of lyrics in your song. That was really good. Shalama.
Hi.
And just to go with Sefa again, sorry, before I critique Shalama, you actually your song actually related to the actual definition of juxtaposition. So I like that you did the comparison. With Shalama, I have no idea how he got photosynthesis. Has nothing to do with photos and what he likes to the kind of photos he likes to take. But I love that you did a play on the word. So I thought that was very good. And then you added choreography, which is something that our listeners are not blessed to see. But that was absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
And so the winner for today's challenge is